This is the December 6th, 2022 circulation SIG meeting for koha-US. Um, and let's get this ball rolling. So Jason had a holds queue thingy he was doing. So what's up?
Yeah, so I've been playing with some different things. I can share my screen. I think one of them is probably a worthwhile enhancement. I haven't put any bugs in. So, but I plan to put this in as a bug at least. So here what I've done is added a little count of how many things are on the holds queue for the logged in library. So on this tab, I'm logged in as my downloadable branch, so they don't get holds. So it says 0 and it's grayed out. On this tab, I've got 3 holds on the queue at Iola Public. I also made it obnoxiously glow if the holds are more than a week old. And everything on my test server is more than a week old. So this obnoxiously glows no matter what branch I'm in. And then if there's more than 20 holds on the queue, it turns red. So so that's using some jQuery and a report that's just looking at how many holds are in. I think it's a temporary holds queue table for a specific branch. Another thing I did was when you click this button, you have to click another run. Oh, surprise. So like it brings up this page and you have to click submit, but I bypassed that. So I changed the link so that it just automatically runs for the logged in branch. And then you don't have to click it twice. It saves a click. That's what I'm trying to do.
Those placards are awesome.
Yeah, and that was the third thing. So, and that's the fifth thing, the confetti. I'm not sure why it's doing what it's doing. So that's fun. So I've been working on these little, I want them to be more obnoxious. But like if a hold's not getting pulled, I need it to be more obvious. So I added a little emoji for varying lengths. So if it's over a week, it gets a clock and it's yellow. And then if it's a month, it gets a calendar and it's orange. And if it's over a year old, which that should never happen, then it gets a skull and it's red.
Should never happen, but it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that happening right now, which is what prompted the whole thing. And then when the hold queue is empty, I made it so that it shoots out confetti because yay, you did your job. Woo. But if this says 0, they're never going to click it. So they'll never see the confetti. So that's just an Easter egg. Yay.
You should have sharks circling around your obnoxious red hold button.
Ooh, I like that. I did put sharks in the confetti. You can't see
Yeah.
it very well. There's sharks and fishes and pizza and a cat riding a dinosaur. So.
Wow, where do you get the time to actually do all this?
I finally got some free time. This is what happens when I get just a smidge of free time.
What is this free time you speak of?
Yeah, I know.
See, I actually was working on something very similar, but I didn't have the, I was just going to put on the front page, on the homepage in Koha, you have X number of items in your holds queue. And for the exact same reason you did, I was looking through some different things and there was a book I had requested that we, somewhere or another, 2 bibliographic records got merged that shouldn't have. And so I put a hold on all 3 of these items that were on there. And 2 of them came like in a day or 2. And the third one, a month later, I'm still waiting for it. So I looked at that library's holds queue and there were things that only they owned that had been on the holds queue since August. And it's like, oh crap, now I gotta figure out what's going on there. And I called them and the person that answered the phone was like, well, that's my job. And oh, wow, I forgot.
Yeah.
Been forgetting consistently since August. So I just wanted to report I created a report and I'm working on getting it set up so that it'll just say on the homepage right above the news column, you have X number of items in your holds queue right now. And that's kind of what Christopher and I are going to be recording today. This is something that I worked on, that he worked on something similar with Andrew. This is upcoming closures at your library. So I've just got, these are the days coming up in the next 12 months that this library is going to be closed, and it's different for each. For each location, and it's doing the same thing that yours does, where it's grabbing the code from up here and populating the report based on that information. And I was thinking of doing the exact same thing with just a report that says these are how many things are in your holds queue. So I like what you're doing there. It's actually solves a lot of problems for me. I have a lot of libraries though that run a different holds report than the general holds queue. Because, and actually I can show everybody this because it does not have any patron information on it. But I call it the priority holds report. This library in Baser, they have, they buy a lot of stuff, and they buy all the stuff that everybody wants. And they're in the middle of the central nexus where, all the big libraries are in this one like 5-mile stretch of highway. And so they have to look at their holds report, and when they run it in the morning, they want to know which are the things that are on hold for pickup at this library. That's their highest priority. And then their second priority are what are the things that are going to other libraries that we're the only one that has a copy of. That's their second level priority. And then the third level priority are the things that other libraries can fill. So that way, because this is currently, they have 99 items on that report. And if they actually get all 99 items, if they actually have a courier load that's 99 items, it means that they're not all going to fit on the courier. So they try and get their high priority things and their second highest priority things. They focus on those. And I've got a few libraries that are working that way because if they spend all their time trying to find the things that other libraries can fill, then they're not going to have enough room on the courier, and then they're going to miss the things that only they can fill. So interesting. So putting it on the circulation on the holds queue there isn't going to be as useful, because I've got like at least 3 libraries, these 3 or 4 libraries, that they never look at that holds queue anymore because they're doing the other report.
Yeah, and mine all are still pretty wed to the built-in holds queue. So
yeah,
I haven't accounted for the sharks and the fishes yet. So those counts are going to be off, because at some point along the way, the holds queue stopped excluding. I need to figure out how to replicate this and report it as a bug. It stopped excluding things they shouldn't be filling anymore. So like I have it set up so that the sharing libraries don't fill holds for the non-sharing libraries. And
right.
the holds policies are set, and it used to exclude that from the queue, but now like if one flips through, it does pop up on the queue. And then I've used jQuery to hide it again. So I have to accommodate for that in the count. Otherwise, people are going to see a 1 and then click into it and not have anything there. So I'm still working on it, but I've made progress.
Yeah, those enhancements or those custom jQueries were pretty cool. I'm trying to move people away from the holds queue, but it might be worth looking into eventually. But does anybody else have any topics that they want to discuss? pretty free form here. The one thing that I was going to throw out is that I'm looking to hand this the leadership of this meeting off next year. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I can walk you through how it works, and get in contact with me through, I think probably you can just submit an email through the koha-US and I'll respond. So, or just the circulation email too. So.
Have you put it out on the general koha-US list that you're looking for somebody new to be the chair of this group?
Yeah, I think I did, but I'll spam everybody again.
That's, you know, it's hard to find people. As soon as you say being in charge of something, everybody just wants to turn and hide.
But it's so awesome. Circulation is so great, and you got great topics. So, and I'll definitely throw it out there. So, anybody else have anything they want to discuss? Anything that really stuck out at you if you happen to go to the Bywater upgrades webinar that they just had?
I'm excited about the making the holds history private. And part of the reason I'm excited about that is because I'm the one that paid for it. Where Nichols is the one that paid for it. So it was our idea. And that was one of the questions that I had that they didn't answer. That they didn't even, they like skipped over it. But yeah, in the new, after the upgrade, if a patron wants to delete their holds history, they will be able to. So they'll be able to privatize it just like their circulation history.
Yeah, they had a lot of updates on the OPAC, and I'm gonna have to go back and forth between, because we use Aspen, so just to see if the new features like the requirements on the registration field, if those affect any Aspen registration, and also the holds history, being able to delete that, if that's going to be also in Aspen. I think that was brought up, and I don't remember the answer right off the top of my head.
The other thing I'm excited about is the changes to the account details email, making it the welcome email and having it be able to be an on-demand thing. So if you sign somebody up and you miss a step and it didn't generate that automatic email, like right now, right now, when you create a new patron, if you miss one of the required fields, and then you click on save, then it tries to save it, and it doesn't. It says, "Oh, you missed a field." When you go back and fill in that required field and then save it again, it will not generate the welcome email because you've interrupted that script's process by leaving out a required field. And so this way now, if you've got somebody that you need to send a welcome, the welcome email to, you just click on a button on their account and it'll just send it right off. So there's also that, they didn't mention it, or it could have been they mentioned it when I was on the phone because I got a phone call in the middle of it. The password reset automatically generated. Staff initiated password reset email.
Yeah, I
those
saw
are both
that. That was pretty cool. I really appreciate that one. So
yeah, because right now, if I have somebody that calls in and says, I need to reset my password, if I wanted to just do that through an email, I have to go through that process and to dig out a link, it's just right now there's no easy way to do that on the fly, but with this, you'll just be able to click a button and it'll send them an email that says this is click here to reset your password. The one that I'm not sure about, and I wish Bob was here to ask, is Click paid for an enhancement so that to cause passwords to expire after a certain length of time. And that'll be in the new version. And my question was, does Koha going to remember what the previous passwords were? So can you just reset your password to what it already is? That was my question. So if your password is bunny right now, and you get the email that says you need to reset your password, can you just go in and reset it to what it already is? Or, it'd be nice if it wouldn't let you use a password that you used in the previous, like, if there was a way to specify, you can't use a password that's been used in the previous X number of months.
Anybody else notice anything that is pretty cool, or they're looking forward to, or not looking forward to?
The reversion of the hold expiration date is pretty awesome, because right now, if you have somebody that a book comes in and it lands on the hold shelf, the hold expiration date, when you check something in and it fills a hold, the expiration date is overwritten with so when a patron places a hold and gives it an expiration date of like a year from now, and then a week later the hold comes in and you check it in and it goes on the hold shelf, that expiration date is rewritten as the date the hold will expire from the hold shelf. And if you have something on the hold shelf and you revert it, it can't go back to that previous year from now hold expiration date, because it doesn't remember that, because it was overwritten. And this will return it back to that previous year from now hold expiration date if you revert something that's already waiting. So that is pretty awesome, because right now, if a patron comes in and you can't find their hold and you go to revert it to replace the hold, then the hold will expire in a week. And you have to go in there and manually reset it, but now it'll just revert to whatever it was when they created the hold. So that's pretty awesome. I got my notes right here because that meeting was just an hour ago, so I can see all the cool things or the things that I thought were cool. Well, how many of you use the auto modify item fields based on the date accessioned? You'll be able to choose. You'll be able to set more than just date added. There'll be ways to say maybe date last seen, so many days after date last seen, update this field. So any date field, I think, in the item record will allow you to go in there and use that to trigger the automatic modification by age.
I think we were talking about that like last month when I was wondering if it had anything it could affect in transit, but it doesn't look like that. It does that, but that might be an enhancement that I'm got to remember to see if there's any bug in there or a suggestion for enhancement submitted about that. So.
I'm just popping into my test server to see what kind of fields are available.
Anybody else have anything? Well, if depending on what you find, George, if it doesn't have anything to do with in transit, then no.
It doesn't. It looks like the age fields it can select from are date accessioned, replacement price date, date last borrowed, date last seen, damaged on, lost on, and withdrawn on. So you could have it say change all of your lost items from one type of loss to another after X number of days.
Yeah.
That might be interesting. Or you could have it change things from a damaged status to a lost status after a certain amount of time, or from lost to withdrawn after a certain amount of time.
Did they have lost to damaged? Because that's how we get rid of our, if our things are missing for a certain amount of, for 6 months, we set it to discard, and it's a damaged status. So
yeah, well, it looks like if you say after X number of days of item lost, then you could, but it doesn't let you choose which loss status.
I've got it on the test server. I'll take a look at it, but
yeah,
totally circulation related, right? But
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every place where I've worked, the circulation department is responsible for doing things to books after they get to be a certain age. Every place I've ever worked, that is.
Anyway, does anybody else have any topics? If there's nothing else, we can call it a day.
I guess
Going once.
I do
Oh,
have a bug
sure.
that's been closed. I think I talked about this at some point where we are finding that the renewal behavior isn't following the library where the item was originally checked out. And this touches the cert control sys pref, which we've historically had as logged in branch, I think. I have it in, yeah, the library you're logged in at. To fix the behavior, I have to change cert control to the holding branch, which I tested on my test server, like Katrin suggested, and it does work. I'm just nervous about edge cases. So like if the holding, like if an item doesn't get transferred, arrives in another library and the holding branch is not where the item is currently sitting in the computer and that gets checked out, it's gonna follow the home branch's rules. But I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be worried about that. Because I don't think it'll happen very often where an item gets out of a library with the wrong holding branch. I don't know. But changing it does fix my problem. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull a George Williams and say that the behavior changed on the upgrade and then switch it.
The stealth upgrade.
Yeah.
Stealth upgrade. I've already got mine set at holding branch, so I don't. Okay. I think that's why I haven't experienced the problem. I would have to. So, what's yours currently set to now?
So my home or holding branch system preference is holding branch, but my cert control is the library you're logged in at, because that's what we've always. That's our golden rule: is where you're standing is where the rules follow. But it, that messes with the renewal behavior. So I think I have to change it to holding as well, or the item's current location. I forget what the wording is on that system preference.
See, cert control, the options I see: logged in at, the library the patron is from, or the library the item is from.
The library the item is from is what I have to change it to. No. I forget. I've played with this and I made it work. And I think I did what Katrin suggested. So yeah, the library the item is from plus holding branch, because that tells it to use the holding branch rules. It's just it's a big change and I'm worried about it because it could really like change how things circulate in the consortium.
So what do you have OPAC renewal branch set as? Because that says it only affects the statistic table.
Yeah, that one set as the library the item was checked out from,
Hmm.
but it doesn't affect the staff client. So the problem I'm seeing is like library A has 3 renewals, library B has 2 renewals. If it checks out at library B and then library A can renew it, they can renew it an extra time. So I've got sneaky patrons who know that, and they'll call the library that has more renewals and get an extra renewal.
Those sneaky patrons, man.
Yeah,
How are they able to figure out things that we can't?
I don't know. It's bothersome though.
Yeah.
So if I disappear after the 21st, which is my upgrade, it's because I changed the system preference and everything burned down and people rioted or something. You
You're
never see
doing
me
it.
again.
You're doing it the Wednesday before Christmas. Is your
Merry Christmas to
Wow.
me. It'll be fine. And then I'm taking the whole next week off.
Way to go.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'll be out of the country or anything. I wish, but no.
I'm going to push ours into January because I have to do staff training. So
I'm doing mine next Thursday for my people. And I'm attending the Bywater webinar this Thursday to see what I missed in my notes. But I think that it doesn't feel like it's a big upgrade. It's not going to be like the next one where the whole staff client is changing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that'll be the time to take the vacation afterwards.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, and other than the look of it, I don't think the lot is changing. It's just mostly the look of it.
Yeah,
But that will scare the hell out of people more than anything.
yeah.
The button isn't where it used to be. Oh my God, you mean I have to click on a green button now instead of a blue button? How am I ever going to remember that?
Yeah, I can see them complaining about the size too. I think I'm gonna have to like get ahead of that because everything is kind of small in the new.
Yeah, we're gonna have to up that font or our people aren't gonna be able to function well.
Embiggen, that's the word you want.
Yes, embiggen. I'll use that when I send an email out to staff and I'll let them know I've embiggened it for you and then have them ask me.
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
A perfectly what?
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
Cromulent, okay.
All right, anything else? Okay, so one last call, see if someone wants to take this over as leadership next year. I'll send out an email to the koha-US. Thought I did it, but I'll do it again. But if anybody doesn't have any other topics, we can wrap this up early and we'll see you next year. So everybody take care.
Bye, everybody.